General Hospital Spoilers. Joss kills Sidwell and Cassius and flees Wyndemere. The storm rolled across the harbor with frightening intensity. Lightning flashed over Spoon Island, illuminating the dark silhouette of Wyndemere as waves crashed against the rocky shoreline below. Inside the ancient castle, chaos erupted. Jocelyn Jacks never imagined her life would lead to this moment. Her hands trembled as she stood in the grand foyer. Her breathing was ragged. Her heart hammered so loudly she could barely hear the thunder outside. 2 bodies lay on the floor. Sidwell, Cassius, dead. Everything had happened so fast. Only minutes earlier, Joss had arrived at Wyndemere after receiving a desperate text message from Britt Westbourne. "Please come. It's about Emma. Don't tell anyone." The message made no sense. Britt had sounded frightened, terrified. Joss rushed to the castle without telling anyone, convinced someone was in danger. What she found instead changed everything. When she entered the drawing room, Britt wasn't there. Sidwell was. And he wasn't alone. Cassius stood beside him, holding a gun. The moment Joss stepped into the room, she knew she had walked into a trap. "Welcome," Sidwell had said with a smile. A cold smile. A predator's smile. Joss immediately turned toward the door. Cassius blocked her path. "You aren't leaving." Fear surged through her. "What do you want?" Sidwell slowly approached. "You've been asking questions." Joss's pulse raced. Questions about missing money. Questions about secret shipments arriving in Port Charles Harbor. Questions connecting Sidwell to several recent crimes. Apparently, she'd gotten too close to the truth. Sidwell admitted everything. Not because he wanted to confess, because he intended to eliminate the threat. Joss. The realization hit her like a freight train. No one knew where she was. No one would hear her scream. No one would come save her. For the first time in her life, Joss genuinely believed she might die. Cassius grabbed her arm. She fought back instantly. Years of self-defense training kicked in. She elbowed him in the ribs. Hard. Cassius staggered backward. Sidwell laughed. Fiery. Joss lunged toward the nearest exit. Cassius recovered quickly. Too quickly. He tackled her before she could reach the door. The two crashed into a table. Glass shattered everywhere. Pain exploded through her shoulder. Cassius pinned her down. Joss struggled desperately. "Get off me." He tightened his grip. Sidwell watched with amusement. That was when Joss saw it. A gun. Cassius's gun. It had slid across the floor during the struggle, only a few feet away. Her only chance. Joss drove her knee upward. Cassius groaned. His grip loosened. She twisted free and dove for the weapon. Cassius saw what she was doing. So did Sidwell. Everyone moved at once. Joss grabbed the gun first. Cassius reached for her. A shot rang out. The room froze. Cassius stared at her. Shock filled his eyes. Then he looked down. Blood spread across his shirt. Silence. The impossible had happened. Joss had fired. Cassius collapsed. Dead. The gun slipped in her shaking hands. "Oh my God!" She couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't process what she'd done. Sidwell looked at Cassius's body, then at Joss. The amusement vanished, replaced by rage. "You stupid girl." His voice was ice, pure hatred. Joss backed away. Sidwell advanced, slowly, deliberately, like a hunter cornering prey. "You have no idea what you've done." Fear consumed her. But something else emerged too. Determination. She wasn't going to die here, not tonight. Sidwell attacked. The two collided violently. Furniture overturned, paintings crashed from walls. Thunder shook the castle. Sidwell was stronger, older, more experienced. But Joss fought with desperation. The desperation of someone fighting for survival. Sidwell slammed her against a wall. Stars exploded in her vision. The gun flew from her hand. It landed several feet away. Sidwell smiled. Victory was within reach. He grabbed her throat. Joss struggled for air. Her vision blurred. The room spun. She could feel consciousness slipping away. Then she saw it. The gun, still lying on the floor, only inches beyond Sidwell's foot. With the last of her strength, Joss kicked his knee. Sidwell lost balance. For one brief second, his grip loosened. That second saved her life. Joss dropped to the floor, reached, grabbed the weapon, and fired. Once, twice, 3 times. The deafening blasts echoed through Wyndemere. Sidwell staggered backward. Disbelief filled his face. He looked at the blood spreading across his chest. Then at Joss. Neither spoke, neither moved. Finally, Sidwell collapsed beside Cassius. Dead. The storm outside intensified. But inside the castle, an eerie silence settled over everything. Joss stared at the bodies. She had survived. But survival came with a terrible price. No one would believe her. 2 men were dead, and she was standing over them holding the murder weapon. Panic overwhelmed her. What would the police think? What would Anna say? What would Carly think? What would Sunny think? Her entire future flashed before her eyes. Prison, trials, headlines, public disgrace. She imagined Dex's face, Michael's, Trina's, everyone she loved. The fear became unbearable. Then she heard something. Voices. Outside, approaching the castle. Someone was coming, fast. Joss looked toward the front entrance. The headlights of several vehicles appeared through the storm. Her heart nearly stopped. The police, or worse, more of Sidwell's men. Either way, she couldn't stay. Not now, not while shock clouded her judgment. Joss dropped the gun. One final glance at the bodies. Then she ran. Out a side door. Into the storm. Into the darkness. Leaving behind a crime scene that would soon shake Port Charles to its core. As thunder exploded overhead and Wyndemere disappeared behind her, Jocelyn Jacks made a decision that would change her life forever. She wasn't going home. She wasn't calling her family. She wasn't turning herself in. She was running. And by sunrise, all of Port Charles would be asking the same question.